Hello, welcome to the IEEE Computer Society Distinguished Visitors Program and Student and Young Professional Virtual Conference on hot topics in cybersecurity. Today's session is on graduate programs in cybersecurity. I'm Nathan Toth, one of the co-chairs of this conference and chair of the Madison section in Region 4. The Student and Young Professionals Activities Committee was developed to support the Computer Society's student and young professionals globally through initiatives targeted at advancing their knowledge, development, and careers. The Distinguished Visitors Program was initiated in 1971 by Dr. Stephen Yao and offers top quality speakers to students and to student and professional chapters. Before we get started, I'd like to get a couple of housekeeping tasks out of the way. You can direct your questions to the Q&A panel. Dr. Giles will try to answer as many questions as he can following the presentation. The presentation is being recorded, and slides and the recording will be available after the session. Our speaker today is Kendall Giles, Dr. Kendall Giles. He's a collegiate assistant professor at Virginia Tech University with research interests in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence and machine learning, computer systems, science, technology, and society, the history of computing and the internet, data and algorithms, and philosophy of technology. He received his PhD from Johns Hopkins University, Master's of Science from Purdue University, and Bachelor of Science from Virginia Tech. Dr. Giles, I'd like to virtually pass the floor to you.
Great, thank you, Nathan. And hello, everyone, wherever you are in the world. I hope things are going well for you. Before I begin, I want to thank Carrie Cosby and Nathan Toth and the organizers for setting up this wonderful virtual conference. I really appreciate all their hard work behind the scenes to make this all go effortlessly. My main goal here today in today's talk is to give you specific strategies and resources that you can use starting today to take that next step with your cybersecurity education and advance your career. So, as Nathan said, I am a collegiate assistant professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at Virginia Tech. I have a variety of industry, government, and academia background, but what I primarily want to focus on today, and I'll get to these a little bit later in the talk, is my experiences and give you some details about the Master of Information Technology program at Virginia Tech and the Masters of Engineering program, also at Virginia Tech. But before I get into all the details, I want us to first take a step back and make sure we're starting on a firm foundation for exactly why we want to go into cybersecurity. So why are you interested in cybersecurity? The first tactic I suggest is that you establish your skills and your motivations. And by that I mean, what are your current skills and what are your current experiences? What have you done up to now throughout your education, throughout your career, so that you have a firm grounding in what a current snapshot. Because later you're going to want to figure out where you're going to go in cybersecurity, and I'm going to show you a way to make a plan for that. And so you want that delta. If you have that delta, then you can really target your education efforts so that you don't waste time, you don't waste money, and that you can get to where you're going as fast as possible. So, as for your motivations, what do you hope to get out of learning about cybersecurity? In other words, do you want a job promotion or a salary increase? That's always good. Do you want to remain competitive or gain additional skills and knowledge, right? Technology is always changing, and certainly security vulnerabilities and attacks and defenses are always changing. So you gotta keep up your knowledge in order to even just stay current with the advancing technologies. Are you looking for a career change? Do you have a current career in some security adjacent field, and you've been hearing so many great things about all the excitement in cybersecurity, and so you're looking for a career change. That could be a possible motivation as well. Or do you want to you're currently in cybersecurity and you want to improve your job effectiveness? All of those are possibilities. You may have other motivations that aren't here, but before we get into the details, before you start signing up for classes and graduate programs, I think it's worth establishing why you want to go into cybersecurity. Next, you should try to identify your cybersecurity interests and career goals. And by that, I mean the cybersecurity field, as you know, is very, very large. It's not just bits and bytes. There are technical, operational, managerial, legal, and policy jobs out there to choose from. You can work in academia, industry, and government. So it's worth taking time at the beginning to decide, do you want to stay on a technical track? Do you want to go in more operational, a more operational track where you are trying to figure out what security controls to and where to put them in your organization? Or are you more interested in the managerial aspects, like you're in a large organization and you've got these security incidents? Well, you've got to put together a team of people who can respond to these incidents, and so you need to choose and manage and lead that team. Or are you looking for more legal or policy aspects of security, setting the security policy for your organization, for example? So all of these are possibilities, and I'm going to give you some resources so that you can try to figure this out if you don't know right now, and it's completely okay not to know right now. But again, I think it's worth taking some time at the beginning to try to lock this down as much as possible. Now, the first resource that I want to give you is a tool that will help you get a sense for the huge breadth of the cybersecurity field as well as the depth. Okay? And that tool is the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education Framework. So here is the top level. There's a hierarchical decomposition of the entire cybersecurity field. And at the top level, there are 7 work categories. So this cybersecurity framework divides up the cybersecurity space such that employers and educators and job seekers can learn exactly what jobs are available using common terminologies from the employers, from the educators, and the job seekers, so they're all speaking the same language to try to give some standardization to the cybersecurity space. And these top 7 work categories are analyze, collect and operate, investigate, operate and maintain, oversee and govern, protect and defend, and securely provision. Now, I'm not going to read all the descriptions of each of the work categories. That's for you to do. But for example, say you're interested in protect and defend. That says identifies, analyzes, and mitigates threats to internal information technology, IT, systems and or networks. And each of these top level work categories has a number of specialty areas within each of the categories. And so let's pick, for example, protect and defend. If you look into the protect and defend work category, you can see the number of specialty areas that are available. and if the font is too small, I'll just read them out. There are just 4 of them: cyber defense analysis, cyber defense infrastructure support, incident response, and vulnerability assessment and management. And again, there's a description for each of these specialty areas, so you can just read through, see which one resonates with you, see which one's more interesting. And once you've found the specialty area that is interesting to you, you can drill down even further within. So let's click, for example, the vulnerability assessment and management specialty area. Within that specialty area, vulnerability assessment and management, it has a number of work roles. So job positions that you would expect might fall under that particular specialty area. And just as an example, in vulnerability assessment and management, there's one work role, and that is vulnerability assessment analyst, which says performs assessments of systems and networks within the network environment or enclave, and identifies where those systems or networks deviate from acceptable configurations, enclave policy, or local policy. Measures effectiveness of defense in-depth architecture against known vulnerabilities. So that would be a job position that you might expect in this particular work category and specialty area. Now, you can see under the work role, vulnerability assessment analyst, there's listed abilities, knowledge, skills, tasks, and capability indicators. So I just want to run through each of those just to give you an example of what you might see for whatever work role that you end up being interested in. And so here we see the abilities for the vulnerability assessment analyst position that we just chose. And by abilities, there's knowledge, skills, and abilities. And skills and abilities might seem on the face of it kind of similar, but according to this categorization, abilities means more intrinsic to the actual person. Kind of things that they can do that are kind of more built in. And so an example ability might be ability to identify systemic security issues based on the analysis of vulnerability and configuration data. Okay, or ability to apply programming language structures such as source code review and logic. So these are more intrinsic abilities that you might have developed throughout your career. By knowledge, and you can see a long list here, and just by the way, this list of knowledge is truncated. And I couldn't fit it all on the screen. There's a lot more knowledge items that are available for this position. But just to give you an example, by knowledge, it means for this work role that you have selected, there are a number of theoretical facts and technical terms and definitions that you would be expected to know in that position, such as knowledge of computer networking concepts and protocols and network security methodologies, or knowledge of cyber threats and vulnerabilities, or knowledge of data backup and recovery. And so there's a long, extensive list of things that you would be expected to know if you were going to choose this particular position. And so let's look now at the skills. By skills, we mean things that you would have the ability to do, experiences that you have. You'll be able to apply these skills on the job if you were in that position. And some example skills for the work role that we selected are skill in conducting vulnerability scans and recognizing vulnerabilities in security systems, or skill in mimicking threat behaviors, or skill in use of penetration testing tools and techniques. So all of these are for the vulnerability assessment role. Now, what might you be expected to do on the job, once you get this position? So what are the types of activities that you would be expected? And so these are the tasks. By tasks, and some example tasks in the vulnerability analysis analyst role is analyze organizations' cyber defense policies and configurations, and evaluate compliance with regulations and organizational directives. Or another task you might be expected to be able to do in this role is conduct and or support authorized penetration testing, keep that in mind, penetration testing on enterprise network assets. Finally, for this, let's look at the capability indicators. And it may be too small for you to read, but again, you're going to get a copy of the slides. If you don't get a copy of the slides, email me and I'll send them to you. But there's a matrix here. And the rows in this matrix are education credentials that you might be expected to have or earn, such as, the first row is credentials and certifications. Next is continuous learning. Next is education. Next is experiential learning. And finally, training. And then there are some columns, and the columns are the three major stages of your career. So entry level, intermediate level, and advanced. And so for each particular cell, it's going to give you specific recommendations and examples of types of credentials that you would be expected to earn, at that point in your career for this work role. Okay, so everything is very targeted for the work role. So, it's worth your time to look around and compare and see which work role is most of interest to you. The next resource that I'd like to introduce you to, and this next resource can help you identify the specific area of security you would like to focus on. And there are actually two tools in this website called Cybersecurity that I want to tell you about. The first tool is a heat map. It's just for the United States. Even if you are outside of the United States, I still think there is useful information that you can extract from looking at these examples. So you see a map of the United States, and the different individual states are color-coded. The darker colors, so the states with darker colors, means there are more cybersecurity jobs available in those states. Just looking at this graph, you can see that California, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, New York, all of these states have lots of cybersecurity jobs available, whereas other states across the U.S. may not have as many. Even better for this particular tool, so this initial map shows the entire United States, but it's interactive. And so if you go to the website, you can select each specific state, and then it will give you the specific jobs and statistics for that state. And by the statistics, if you look at the bottom of the slide, you'll see some statistics for, we're on the scale of across the entire United States. So across the entire United States, there are 500,000 cybersecurity job openings and a current employed cybersecurity workforce of almost 1 million people. So you can see the number of jobs available, how many jobs are currently active. You can see the supply of cybersecurity workers. And nationally, we're below average, meaning there's high demand for cybersecurity positions. You can see the geographic concentration. And over on the right, you can see the top cybersecurity job titles. So if you're interested in a specific area of the country, in the United States, then you can see which job titles are more popular in that particular state. And so that might influence your search. Also, on that page, I did not have enough room to fit it all into one slide, but this is another set of statistics that is available for the specific state that you select on. And again, we're on the US scale right now. You see the number of job openings by the NICE cybersecurity workforce framework that we just talked about a few slides ago. You can see the number of job openings in the operate and maintain category, the securely provision category, the protect and defend category, etc. On the right-hand side, you can also see the numbers of certification holders, cybersecurity certificate holders, people holding these specific cybersecurity certificates, and the number of job openings that are requesting these certificates. So you can see which certificates are popular, and that might influence your education path. We're going to talk more about these cybersecurity certificates in just a moment, but it's worth perusing around to see what certificates are popular, what job titles are popular, just to get an idea of what's kind of current in the industry. The next tool on the CyberSeek site that I think is worth, will give you some information that might help you plan out the arc of your career in cybersecurity. And that is the cybersecurity career pathway. So you can see there is, on the right-hand side, there are, again, the 3 phases of your typical career: entry level, mid-level, and advanced level. And for each of the levels, you can see a number of core cybersecurity roles, roles that you would expect to see at those particular phases of your career. So for example, entry-level roles might be cybersecurity specialist or technician, or cybercrime analyst or investigator, or incident analyst responder, or IT auditor. Those might be entry-level roles in cybersecurity. And if you click one of those roles, so pick one of those roles, depending on where you are in your career, pick one. And here in the graph, I have chosen cybercrime analyst and investigator. And for that entry-level role, it will make connected arcs to appropriate roles at the next phase of your career. And so, for example, the cybercrime analyst is a good starting point, because you can become a cybersecurity analyst at the midpoint of your career, a cybersecurity consultant, or a penetration and vulnerability tester. It sets you up for a long career and a variable career, flexible career in cybersecurity. And again, if you click one of the mid-level roles, then it will show you the appropriate or logical arcs to advanced roles. Now, what's most likely appropriate for you, especially if you're interested in coming to cybersecurity from outside the field? I mean, most people aren't born into security, right? They come into cybersecurity from adjacent fields. Maybe they have a background in networking, or software development, or systems engineering, or financial and risk analysis, or security intelligence. Okay? They've got some security adjacent field, and they're interested in jumping over, making a career change into cybersecurity. And so pick whatever feeder role is most applicable to you, and that will give you connected arcs to entry-level positions into cybersecurity. That will tell you which ones are most logical. And so you can see for the cybercrime analyst investigator, possible feeder roles. You know, if you're currently have a networking background, or a systems engineering background, or financial and risk analysis, or security intelligence, it makes sense for you to try for a position as a cybercrime analyst or investigator. If, on the other hand, you have a background in software development, that's it. I mean, it's a great field, it's a great career. I've done it a long time, but maybe because if you have a software development career, you may not be as strong in networking, you may not be as strong in hardware, so you may not be as well positioned to make a jump into a cybercrime or analyst investigator position. So this tool can really help you fine-tune. Again, based on, we took at the very beginning of this lecture, we analyzed where we were in our career. This will help you decide, which are appropriate jumping off points. Okay. So in the previous discussions, we established a starting point for your current skills and experiences, and we discussed 3 tools to help you identify the specific area of cybersecurity that most interests you, where the jobs are, and even sketching out a possible arc in cybersecurity. So you've identified what you want, so now let's discuss how to get there. And by that I mean, you've identified the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you need for that position. That's a delta based on what you currently have. And so we need to figure out how you're going to gain that knowledge and skills. What education path will help you get there. And so here, I've tried to loosely, roughly categorize the various learning options that you have available to you into these 5 rough categories. Okay? And these are not mutually exclusive categories. Throughout the course of your career, cybersecurity career, you're probably going to dip into each one of these. But they're roughly ordered in terms of least amount of structure to most amount of structure, least amount of time commitment to most amount of time commitment, least amount of expense to most amount of expense, and maybe least amount of value to most amount of value. So again, these are all kind of subjective and a little bit loose, but we have self-study, we have ad hoc courses, we have security certifications, we have university graduate certificates, and we have university graduate degrees. By self-study, I mean, find one of the many great security books that are out there and read them. And this list here is by no means comprehensive. I just picked a couple right off the top of my head. For example, Practical Malware Analysis, the hands-on guide to dissecting malicious software. So if you have a very specific set of skills and knowledge that you need to gain, then buy that specific book. And if you've got the dedication to sit down and work through that book, then you'll be able to reap those rewards. However, another option you might want to consider, and also, remember these are not, I said these are not mutually exclusive, is the wonderful world of cybersecurity conferences. And we're currently in the time of the pandemic, the coronavirus, so these physical, face-to-face, in-person cybersecurity conference, that situation has changed a little bit. A lot of the conferences have gone online, but the security world is it's a great community. There's a strong community for helping each other learn new security things. These cybersecurity conferences, they have industry people, they have great keynotes, they have great lectures, they have great competitions, hacking competitions, lock-picking competitions. So there's wonderful resources and education opportunities at these conferences. And you get to meet people, you get to make contacts. They're great. So if you have a chance, I just have 3 here, Black Hat, DEF CON, and B-Sides. But there are lots of other options available. And, you know, I really, they occur all over the world. So I really encourage you to try out, no matter what other education option you choose, I really encourage you to attend cybersecurity conferences. Next on our list of options, I call ad hoc courses. And there are a number of organizations out there. If you have a specific, you know, maybe you need more than just a book's worth, or maybe you need a little bit more structure to help you work through that book with hands-on education and lectures and maybe some projects to guide you working through some specific topic. If you need those additional skills, then you could take a course. And, you know, here I've just selected the course Network Penetration Testing and Ethical Hacking by the SANS organization. So this is just one example, but this particular course is well regarded. And also, we're going to see this next, but these courses can, sometimes if you take multiple courses, they can help you earn security certifications. Now, as we saw on the CyberSeek tool, the security world loves security certifications. It's a credential that employers love to see on your resume. Now, if you look at this graph shows security certification progress chart for 2020, so it's reasonably current, or as current as I could find. There are a lot of security certifications that you can get. And so this might be a little bit overwhelming, and so you might want to, you know, figure out where you are, where you fit into this progression chart. But this progression chart is roughly organized. You can see perhaps the vertical groupings of certificates by security area. So for example, on the right-hand side, we've got a vertical column called security engineering. Next to that, going to the left, we have offensive operations, then defensive operations, then security analysis, then security architecture, then security management. Okay, so depending on what part of security you're interested in, based on your self-assessment that we did at the beginning, you'll know which column to figure out which certifications would best apply to you. Now, also note that horizontally, at least at the bottom, you can see the certifications in the bottom row are considered entry-level security certificates. And then above that are novice certificates. So if you're new to cybersecurity and you're interested in, say, security analysis, defensive operations, or offensive operations, then the Security Plus certificate will be a great starting point for you. Okay, we have been progressing through our list of options for gaining those skills and knowledge that you need to get you to where you want to go. So next, let's consider university graduate certifications and degrees. And by graduate certificates, I mean, we're at the university now, not, you know, an independent vendor selling cybersecurity courses. A graduate certificate is a cluster of graduate courses, say 3 or more courses, related to a specific topic, such as, for example, cybersecurity management. Maybe that's your specific area you want. Maybe you're not ready to commit to a graduate degree, like a master's degree. You could get a graduate certificate. That's a great credential to have. And your employer would, I'm sure, love that. But you also have graduate degrees, like a traditional Master of Science degree, a PhD. And what I want to talk about today are the more professionally oriented graduate degrees instead of the research-oriented graduate degrees. I want to talk about the Master of Engineering and the Master of Information Technology. So these are the programs that I know best based on my teaching in these programs at Virginia Tech. So just in case you aren't familiar with Virginia Tech is a large research-oriented university in the state of Virginia in the United States. And we have about 280 undergrad and grad different majors and more than 36,000 students, a large research portfolio, and multiple facilities across Virginia, though our main campus is in Blacksburg, Virginia, which is in the southwest part of the state. I'm not going to spend time going to this now. You can click through it later. But we have a large collection of cybersecurity faculty, both in engineering, of course, but in other colleges and departments. We have a large interdisciplinary set of faculty who are interested in cybersecurity research. We have the Hume Center for National Security and Technology. We host the U.S. Cyber Range, which is an online cybersecurity specific focused resource, a set of free virtual cloud classes that are free for educators all across the United States to embed in their curriculums. It provides the curriculum, the coursework, projects, and it even provides the environment. In other words, the Unix or Linux back environments, operating systems that students can actually use and conduct these security projects in, so that they don't even, you don't need to buy any software. You just need a web browser. It's all virtual and hosted in the cloud. We host the U.S. Cyber Range. We're also a participant in the Commonwealth Cyber Initiative, which is a consortium of a large number of Virginia universities focusing on cybersecurity. And we have a number of prestigious National Security Agency cybersecurity credentials. I mentioned our main campus is in Blacksburg, Virginia. We're actually building a completely new campus in Northern Virginia, in Alexandria, Virginia, which is near the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. The Innovation Campus is, we've broken ground. It's a 1 million square foot campus. It's going to combine industry, academia, and government labs. It's research oriented. It's just down the street from the second Amazon headquarters that's also being built there. So we're very excited about this Innovation Campus. And in about 5 years' time, we're going to be enrolling 750 master's degree students per year, as well as training hundreds of doctoral students and postdoc fellows. So we're all very excited about the Innovation Campus that's going to bring. I am in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, which is the 4th largest ECE department in the U.S. We have a large number of research and teaching faculty and a number of current rankings. All that is background to give you context for the first case study that I want to talk about, and that is the Virginia Tech Master of Information Technology program. And I'll probably abbreviate that VTMIT. The biggest key that's probably going to be most of interest to you right now is that this master's program is 100% online. This is great. This is a great program to take during the coronavirus. So all of the coursework is 100% online. There you go. Just as an overview, here's the program website. We've actually been in online education for about 20 years. And this master's program is geared specifically for the working professional. In other words, you're expected to work your full daytime job, and then all of the classes are in the evenings. So it's really geared for the part-time student. And the classes, they do have live synchronous Zoom sessions, almost like we're having right now, but these are recorded in case you have a work commitment or have to go on travel or are in the wrong time zone to catch the live session. We have people, students all across the US and sometimes in other parts of the world participating in this program. And it's 100% online, asynchronous graduate degree program. We also have some graduate certificates. I'll talk about those in a minute. There are about 11 courses. I'll give you some details about those in a minute, but it is a Master of Information Technology program from Virginia Tech. One additional item of interest that that should be noted is that this is an interdisciplinary program. In other words, most information technology programs are centered in the School of Business. They're typical business degrees. But at Virginia Tech, we also have coursework from the College of Engineering. In other words, the more technical classes in an IT program are taught either in computer science or electrical and computer engineering, while the more managerial classes are, of course, taught in the School of Business, Accounting and Information Systems, Business Information Technology, or Management. There are a number of reasons, rankings that you can see here. We're well regarded among online programs. You can see on the program website the reasons that students choose the MIT program, such as to remain competitive or potential for salary increase. You can see the companies that are encouraging their students, perhaps paying for the tuition to attend the program, such as Deloitte or Lockheed Martin. And you can also see on the pie graph on the right, we have a number of software engineers, systems engineers, IT consultants, database analysts, so a wide range of experiences come into the MIT program to gain that graduate degree credential. I just wanted to show, real quickly, a glimpse at the course structure. There are a number of required courses in the program, and you can see those that are shaded, such as Fundamentals of Computer Systems, that's like a computer architecture course, or Object-Oriented Programming with Java. You can also see the electives. So you have a couple core courses that you have to take, but then you have a lot of electives, and you can choose those. They're often organized as modules. We have a two-semester sequence in networking, security, big data, software development, software engineering. And you can also see more managerial courses as well, and modules in business information systems, health information technology, etc. We also have a number of graduate certificates. These are groups of 3 or 4 courses around specific themes. We have a graduate certificate in cybersecurity management, cybersecurity policy, cybersecurity technologies. That might be a great way into, you're not really sure if you want to commit to a graduate degree yet, so take a graduate certificate. That might be a good way in. The next example case study that I want to talk about is the Masters of Engineering program. And this is specifically in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. So you can see the program website here. And in this program, it's more of a traditional technology graduate program, but it's more for the professional rather than the Master of Science degree, which is more for the researcher. You would pick a focus in, say, cybersecurity or machine learning. And here is an example of the possible courses. Now, before I talk about the courses, I should note that unlike the MIT program, which is 100% online, the MEng program is more of a traditional course degree in that you attend classes on campus. There are some electives that are 100% online, but you also have courses that are at one of the Virginia Tech campuses in Blacksburg, Falls Church, at the Innovation Campus, for example. And instead of, like in the Master of Science, you write a thesis, in the MEng program, you do a project. So you find some project that's interesting to you, you write the project, if it's a program or some application, and then you talk about it and you write a report. So it's like a capstone project. That you do that instead of a thesis. And some of the possible courses are fundamentals of information security, cyber physical systems, network architecture and protocols, network security, etc. So those are some options in the MEng program. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. I've given you a lot of resources, and I've done some case studies on two specific graduate degree programs that might be really of interest to you, especially in the time of the coronavirus. But in summary, what I'm suggesting is that you establish where you are, identify your interests, assess, take a current snapshot, and then decide where you want to go with your career. Ask, how can you leverage your current foundation or your current situation to add the skills and experiences that you will need to get there? Again, if you're in software development, maybe there are some cybersecurity jobs that don't make sense because it's such a big jump. You'd have such a big length of time and number of courses to gain the networking and the hardware knowledge and skills to fill those cybersecurity job roles. So you want to pick a security adjacent to whatever your current background is, so that you can try to minimize the number of additional skills and knowledge that you need to add. I also suggested that you try to identify whether you want to be technical, operational, or managerial. Each of these are different paths. You may up in taking a graduate program just specifically in the engineering department, or depending on your path, you might also want to add managerial courses as well, and that might be the MIT degree, for example. We talked about a number of learning approaches, but really I'm emphasizing make and follow a plan, and periodically revisit that plan to update it as necessary. So that's it. And I hope this has been useful to you, this information. I've got just a little bit of time left. If you want more information about the resources that I talked about today, I've got some links here on the slide. So Innovation Campus, the NICE framework, CyberSeek, SANS, and the security certification progression chart. Note that there's missing underscores in the progression chart link, but if you get the PDF, you can click it and it should take you to it, or you could just pop the title into a search engine and you should be good to go. And I've also got some extra information for the MIT program here. If you're interested, there's an upcoming December application deadline, a way you can meet the students and schedule a one-on-one conversation if you need it. And just a closing picture of the Virginia Tech campus in Blacksburg, Virginia. So thank you, and I hope this information was helpful to you.
Okay, thank you. I think we have a couple of questions here. Does Virginia Tech have a postdoctoral program?
Yes, we have a number of postdoctoral positions. Again, we're a very research-heavy university. We have positions in the Blacksburg campus. We have positions in the Northern Virginia campus. So absolutely.
What are the general admission requirements for the MIT program?
I would probably direct you to the MIT program site as the best way. There are a dedicated staff who can answer all of those, kind of criteria-specific questions. That probably would be my suggestion. I will say that based on the students that I've seen in my class, wide variety. I've had network engineers with 20 years of experience. I've had people in accounting who heard all these wonderful things about cybersecurity and are interested in making a career change. So from people who don't have a strong technical background to people who do, I've seen the wide range there. But yes, please check the website and contact one of the assistants and sign up for an information session.
Let's see. Does Virginia Tech have any company partners for the MIT program?
We do for the MEng program. In other words, that's the one where there are specific projects. It's project oriented. You have a capstone project at the end. Often the faculty are working with various industry partners, and an industry partner might sponsor one of the projects. So yes, for that. The MIT program, on the other hand, does not have kind of the capstone project or the thesis element. So any company environment, inclusion of company in the program would be on, according to the specific faculty member for that course that you're taking.
There's a person here who wants to potentially change a career, move into cybersecurity as a career, but does not have any STEM background. How would you go about doing such a thing?
So you might remember I mentioned that there are technical, operational, managerial, and legal/policy paths choices. If you have no STEM background, that obviously might limit you on the more technical or operational side. But there are managerial roles, there are policy roles, there are legal roles available to you, and so I might suggest investigating. Go to the NICE framework, look at those workforce categories that are most of interest to you. And drill down there, and I think that might be a suggested starting point. But certainly, if I could add, if you were to choose say a graduate program to help build up those missing technical skills, I would not, in your specific case, I might not suggest an MEng program. I might suggest something like an MIT program, which has those business and managerial courses, but also has some technical courses, so that when you are working with your technical team, the engineers in your team, you'll be able to at least speak the same language. You'll have an idea from the problems that they're describing and the problems that they're coming to you with. You'll be able to understand and better be able to help them.
So I'm going to jump in here. It looks like we've lost the audio from Nate. One person asks, how flexible is the MIT program? Are there any specific mandatory core courses?
So I can give a yes/no to that answer to that question. Yes, there are some core courses, and I think you have to take 4 out of the 6 possible core courses. So, there are technical core courses and there are managerial core courses. You can take most of your core courses on one side or the other, but you do have to take at least one in the other discipline. So there are a number of core courses. There is some flexibility in which ones you take. But other than that, the program is geared, yes, for the working professional. And so they're expecting you to take maybe 1 or 2 courses per semester, whereas the MEng program, they're expecting you, the MEng program has a 1-year graduation option. If you load up tons of courses in the fall and in the spring and in the summer, you can get your master's in 1 year. Whereas the MIT program it's really meant for the working professional who might not be as intense in their coursework.
Okay, very good. The next question is, does the MIT degree mention which path one can take? I'm not certain that. I think that's a reference to an earlier question that the person offered, which was, how flexible is the MIT program? Are there any specific mandatory core courses? And then that one comes on the top of it. Let's just jump to the next one. The next person says, I'm a data science student. Can my education be related to cybersecurity? In other words, can it be transferred?
Yes, I would say yes. Data analysis is obviously a big part of security, right? You've got to analyze all of the DNS server logs. You're analyzing the network traffic. You're looking for suspicious activities. You're trying to use machine learning algorithms to detect intrusions autonomously. So I think a data science background can help. Again, obviously, if you might need some additional knowledge coursework in networking, for example, if that's not very strong to you, as well as maybe some understanding of hardware and understanding of the packets the network traffic is in binary, the binary number system. So zeros and ones, how that works out, being able to convert the different number systems. So there is some additional coursework that you might want to specifically supplement your current foundation with. But in my opinion, data science is a legit way in. That was my way in, actually. I had a bit of data science and statistics background.
Okay, I think we'll take one more here. This last question is, are the Virginia Tech courses you mentioned available for foreigners as well?
Yes. Now let me see how to let me qualify that. Yes, the MEng program, because that is more of a traditional program, you actually have to attend classes on the Virginia Tech campus. If you can get into the U.S., then yes, that is available to you. And if you can, move to the Northern Virginia or Southern Virginia area, but the MIT program certainly. And I've had students outside of the U.S. attend the MIT program, and they were successful. So yes, I would say absolutely.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dr. Giles, for your presentation. I think it was great. It gave us a lot to think about, especially for those looking for a graduate program that might suit them. I also want to thank Nate. Nate, unfortunately, had some technical problems there at the end, but thank you, Nate, for your moderating. Our next session, the conference next session will be on the 17th of October, tomorrow, at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. UTC. This will be on security of cyber physical systems. If you're interested in this presentation or any of the upcoming presentations, which I'm going to put all of those up right now, you can find information about these sessions and register on the conference website. That's https://tc.computer.org/dvp-conference. We will see you all at our next session. And again, thank you, Dr. Giles, very much for your presentation.
Thank you.